And so you said, can we educate the kids? We can certainly try. I think that's a great avenue to take because it's personal to everybody around here, including the other families, you know. And I can't speak for the other family, but they're hurting for y'all too because they know their son made that bad choice, and they know what the weight has come on, and they're mourning with y'all, you know.
The 15-year-old was in the truck with his parents watching all the carnage, and not one time. I
don't know that child. I really don't.
Well,
and I'm not defending anyone, and I cannot make your pain go away. But it is truly one of those situations. We can have cops everywhere, and the second they go on a call here, then that allows something to go wrong here. They cannot be everywhere every second, unfortunately. And so, yes, it is on every individual in every community to make the right choice all the time and to be considerate of their neighbors and to think of others first. Unfortunately, we don't have a society where people do that all the time. And then we pay like this.
But that's what we're trying to do.
I know.
The cops were there that night whenever they showed up and they had that kid in the truck and they let him go. You know, there's 2 dead people on the ground and they let that kid go. I don't understand that.
Man, he's 15 years old. He's a child.
They have to do their investigation.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying,
Specific ways that we have to treat children.
it doesn't take common sense to know that you're behind something that's going to kill
The parents shouldn't let them go out.
You're driving something that can possibly kill
But it's on the
somebody.
parents, too.
Yeah, don't drive, let him drive.
You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a difference in juvenile law and adults too. So they're kind of tied on what they can and cannot do with a juvenile.
You know, my kids,
versus an
I've
adult.
got 4 kids, and I've got 12 grandkids. And like I said, I've known you forever. And my kids got into mischief, and this, that, and the other, but they didn't do things like that.
And these kids wouldn't have intentionally done it either. You know, that's the hard part. They would not have intentionally
He didn't intentionally get in that vehicle and go that speed with 100% throttle. He did not intend to do that.
No, I'm saying he did not intend to kill somebody.
But he
He
did.
intended to do
But he
that.
did.
Yeah.
But he did.
Exactly.
And this isn't the first incident that he's been seen doing illegal stuff with his truck. Dangerous stuff, reckless stuff. He's been known to do it.
So he's going to pay. We know that, and he knows that, and his family knows that, and
We're going to make sure of it.
I know, and I understand that. But for all the rest of the kids that in that one moment are going to make a stupid decision, you know, that's where you have to attack this, in my opinion. And we can try to change laws, and we can try to do other things that may or may not help. We've actually done a lot of research on speed bumps because multiple people have requested them. And the research shows that it slows people down for enough time to get over the bump safely, and then they speed back up. So that doesn't help your child if they're 20 feet away from the speed bump, you know. So I think there are things to do. I think, unfortunately, this is what brings it up. And we can, and I feel like you have a dedicated council. We can't work miracles, but we can do our part. And I don't think you will see any of us turn our heads. And I never want to pass the buck to Fort Worth, but I'm telling you, from the school's perspective and my kids that I have, and I love all 500 of my kids, where the most crime happens is on Fort Worth streets, because they do not do their part to patrol their neighborhoods that are connected to our neighborhoods. I had children die. They don't get the recognition that everybody else gets because they were a poor family and they were involved in some wrong things. Again, made a stupid choice and cost 3 or 4 people their lives. It was Fort Worth, you know. And then after that happened, they start showing up a little bit more, but now I don't see them anywhere in the neighborhood. So I truly believe with all my heart we have to start addressing Fort Worth City Council and the mayor and the police department from their side, because they have to give us and our community the same respect and the same attention that they do across town. And so, but I think this side of Fort Worth is a little bit forgotten because it's so nestled into other communities around. So I would really encourage you to take that avenue too. And then we're strongly connected, so we have to do our part as well. I hate that y'all had to go through this, I really do, and I had to experience the exact same thing, having to pull up and see a body on the road covered up. It's horrifying. But I do believe there are things that we can do as long as we are not fighting each other.
Chief, what's the penalty for exhibition of acceleration?
Exhibition of acceleration, they've actually gotten rid of that. That used to be a Class C ticket. It was just a Class C.
What was the fine, though?
Up to $500.
So it's not even, so that,
They moved it to a class.
we
Yeah,
have
the
no,
class B misdemeanor now.
Yeah.
we can't raise that.
No, what they're being charged with is, like you said, is 220, is it?
Well, what I'm talking about is before.
Beforehand.
Beforehand, it was a ticket. Now, what they're being charged with is manslaughter.
But I mean, if you catch two people on that boulevard, what is the ticket, what is the
There's
fine?
no ticket anymore. Now it's a Class B misdemeanor.
Higher.
So in California, if they catch them doing that, they crush the cars.
Yeah.
They don't even,
That's how it should be.
that's out of our hands, we can't do that. Have we caught people street racing in the city?
Very rarely, very
Like in the
rarely.
last year, do you?
Or exceeding, it's potential rate of speed, you know?
We know they're going,
I went back and looked.
Speeders is just as bad. You hit someone doing 80 miles an hour, might as well just been racing.
Going back, for the last year, we've had 43
I know,
calls of reckless drivers.
Well, you can drop that.
They have to be able to arrested more of all LPDs have been fined.
Let's hear what the chief's telling us what we have experienced in River Oaks.
And we went back through, just looked over the last year, and under the closest category we could find in our computer-aided dispatch was reckless drivers that people have called in on, and in the last year we had 43 calls for reckless driving.
That's pretty good.
That's for the, whole year.
But I mean, that's at least they're calling, and those that called in.
In specific, on the boulevard or throughout the?
Throughout the whole city.
But that's the people that are actually saying something,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
I'm with you. I don't, what street did you say you live on?
Almena.
So I live on
right
Yale.
next to the church.
Yeah, I live on Yale.
I used to live on Yale.
I've been there 23 years, and since I've been there, I mean, and they've even lowered the speed limit, and it doesn't.
They don't
And
have-
when they did that, we did have police officers there, but they cannot be there all the time. I've seen cars pass
Well,
each
see, I've seen the
other.
cops sit there before, but they'll keep their brights on to where it's a distraction at night. Why would you sit, and me and my wife were just driving back to the Dollar General one night, and the cop was just sitting on the side of the road with his lights on, with all these cars trying to go back and forth, and he's just blinding his lights in people's face, just sitting there.
On a quiet road,
On a quiet road.
sitting on River Oaks Boulevard, where there's more traffic and you can actually...
And I couldn't even see the drive, because that night, and that light's flashing right in my face, you know?
I think there needs to be stiffer laws instead of it being manslaughter. I think it needs to be murder when they do that. Period. You kill somebody doing that, you should do murder.
Yes,
Darren Howe, Yellow Boulevard. I too have lost a brother from a car accident, so I feel very sorry for you guys. I kind of feel like we're kicking the can down the road a little bit. We know what the answer really is. If we don't believe in that speed bumps work, all that, the bottom line is I understand that we have a budget that is, we need more money. So what we have to do is we've got to get more officers so that we've got to come up with the money to get some officers that are doing traffic patrol, because we do not have enough officers watching the traffic, and I have the utmost respect for every one of the officers that we have. You guys do a great job with what you have. But I think that it's time that we maybe hire a couple of officers that are dedicated to traffic patrol as opposed to the other things. And I know it's not in the budget, it's budget time. It needs